There you go.
Sam gets it. That's a good Canadian boy.
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Nick Robertson, and the countdown continues, as we are now just 8 days away from the start of the NFL season. In just over a week, it's the rematch of the AFC Championship between the Ravens and Chiefs. And as we count down the days till the NFL returns, there's a lot to discuss, specifically the most recent NFL player poll, where they asked 103 current players about quarterbacks. And they have Josh Allen as the most overrated quarterback in the NFL, which honestly seems rude. No? Why would they say that? Is it just because Bills fans are over the top and they just seem to talk nothing but Josh Allen all the time? What is it? He's good. He's great. Allen had 11 votes, with Jalen Hurts and Tua collecting 10, with one anonymous NFC West player saying, Allen has too many turnovers. And yeah, he does lead the NFL in turnovers since 2018, with 102, with Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield behind him. But that changes when you look at the playoffs, as Allen has a career playoff interception rate at 1.1%, which is actually the 5th best in NFL history, and better than Patrick Mahomes. And looking at the rest of Allen's playoff stats, it's hard to see why the other players voted him as the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. Now, some good news for Allen though, as in the same poll he was voted as the best trash talker, and took to Twitter to celebrate that. I mean, he owns it too, you know? We love it. To no one's surprise, Patrick Mahomes was number 1 in the poll, ranking the league's best 3 quarterbacks, with reigning MVP Lamar Jackson coming 2nd, followed by Joe Burrow in 3rd. I mean, those picks are not surprising. I'm still shocked by Josh not just being part of that group. And just a reminder, TSN has you covered all season long with NFL action, including the season opener next Thursday, September 5th. It's the Ravens and Chiefs to open up the season at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN. I specifically moved a party because I couldn't have it on the same day as the NFL opening season. We can't do it. We can't do it. Clear the calendar. Thursday's for you. NHL training camps are fast approaching, and it remains to be seen if a certain Leafs RFA will show up. Nick Robertson was one of the Leafs' most hyped prospects. He had insane junior numbers with the Petes, putting up 55 goals in the shortened COVID season. Then he even saw action in 4 Leaf playoff games in the bubble, scoring a goal in their series against the Blue Jackets when he was just 18. Unfortunately, since then, it's been devastating injury after devastating injury. The season after his playoff debut, he suffered a major knee injury in January, limiting him to just 27 games that season. The next year, he fractured his fibula in October and was limited to just 38 games. And in 2022, he sustained a season-ending shoulder injury in December, limiting him to just 17 games. So with that bad luck combined with the COVID seasons during his formative years, you can understand how his development has been derailed since he was a prospect. Last year, he was actually able to stay healthy and had a solid year, but he's been up and down for the AHL plenty of times, even when his play hasn't warranted it because he's been waiver eligible and has been leapfrogged by other prospects in the system. Well, this year, Robertson has a legitimate chance to challenge for a spot in the top 6. But now it's sounding like after everything, he's wanting out of Toronto? Even though this seems like his best shot yet to be an everyday member of the team. We first heard of the trade request from Chris Johnston back in July. And at the time, Brad True Living said he knew Robertson was frustrated, but that there's a huge opportunity for him in Toronto. But the most recent update is that he hasn't changed his mind, as Johnston told Carlo Koliakovo yesterday that at this stage, Robertson does not seem inclined to sign with Toronto. So let's see if Nick Robertson is in attendance on day 1 of Leafs camp. No, the thing is, if somebody doesn't want to be here, somebody doesn't want to play for the city or the team, then I feel like they should have the option to not play for the city or team. If their heart's not in it, then they shouldn't be in it. they shouldn't win with the team they don't want to be with.
Breaking news! Russell Wilson has officially been named the Week 1 starter for the Steelers as he beats out Justin Fields in the quarterback competition. Wilson went 10 of 12 in the preseason for 73 yards, throwing no touchdowns and no interceptions.
To tennis, it was a rough start to the US Open for most of the Canadians yesterday. So let's bring in our tennis guy, Mark Masters, for the 2nd day in a row. Love to see it.
I've always been a fan of doubles, Marissa.
Oh, Mark Masters, never change. Felix won a bronze in Paris at the Olympics, and it could have been 2. He really seemed to be rounding into form entering the US Open. How disappointing was yesterday's result?
Very disappointing and frankly hard to explain. You had the 10 double faults, the 36 unforced errors, and honestly, Auger-Aliassime never put his teenaged opponent, Jakub Mensik, ranked 65th in the world, under pressure. And what makes the result so disappointing is it's part of a trend for Auger-Aliassime, who has now lost in the first round in 5 of his last 7 Grand Slams. He's now gone 10 straight majors without reaching the quarterfinals. For a guy who was ranked 6th in the world just a couple of years ago, not good enough.
It wasn't just Felix, it was ugly for most of the Canadians yesterday, as 4 were eliminated in the first round with only 1 going through. When Bianca won in 2019, it was supposed to usher in a golden era of Canadian tennis. What has gone wrong since then?
Well, it's hard to say. Tennis is such an individual sport. Yes, a few of these players did come up together in the Tennis Canada system, and it did feel like they were pushing each other early on, but since then they've made their own choices, they've built their own teams. If I had to point to one thing, it would be health, because all of Canada's top players have dealt with a significant injury in the last couple of years. Now, I do want to highlight that it's not all bad news. Gabriel Diallo did win his first career Grand Slam main draw match yesterday. The 22-year-old out of Montreal in the University of Kentucky is on the rise. So Marissa, help may be on the way for Canadian tennis.
Mark Masters, a pleasure as always.
No double faults for us today, Marissa.
And the US Open continues tonight on TSN at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, as 2-seed Novak Djokovic takes on Laslo Djere in second round action. As we mentioned off the top of the show, we just got 8 days left to the start of the NFL season, meaning that if you're playing fantasy, you've either already drafted or are drafting within the next week. Last week we did a deep dive on some great last place punishments, but today we're going to look at some new viral ways to choose your draft order, like this golf-themed combine, which features a putt, a chug, and getting a ball on the green with a golf sim.
Ready, go. Come on, go. Oh! Chug. 10 seconds, more pace. Come on.
Okay, that shot looked good. Oh. Oh, you drop. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, did he get on the green? Oh. Not close enough. You gotta give it a little gusto, you know? Oh, so close. Come on, dude. This is the one. Third time's the charm. That's it. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. Drop. Drop. Stick. There we go. He does the gritty. I wonder what place he got. This is a great way to choose draft order. I believe in anything like this with a relay. I know the Jays did a similar thing where they had the grounds crew run bases and they bet on different grounds crew members. So a little inside baseball for you, which is actually very similar to our next video, because in this league, all league members predicted a time that this 3-year-old would run the 40 in, and the closest to the actual time determines the draft order. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. You got it. Good job, kiddo. Don't slow down. Don't slow down. You got it. All right, what was the time? What was the time? What did you do it in, buddy? 13:26. Wow. Looks like Sean got it. Or is it closest to going over? Yeah, we need to know if those are Price is Right rules. My producer's asking me now to run the 40 to see if I beat this kid, but I refuse because I already ran the 40, okay? At Super Bowl. So why would I run it again? Well, I guess it wasn't that much faster. That's it for me today. We'll see you right back in tomorrow at 3 Eastern, New Pacific. Have a good one.